All right, so we're diving into a listener request today, cooking furnace operators, which, gotta admit, sounds a lot hotter than our usual deep dives.
It certainly can be. We're
Yeah.
talking temperatures that rival molten lava.
Okay, see, now you've got my attention. So we're talking about those massive industrial ovens, right? The ones turning coal into coke.
Exactly. And a coking furnace operator, they're the ones orchestrating that whole process, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Orchestrating. So it's not just about shoveling coal. What all goes into this orchestration?
Well, think about it. You've got these incredibly hot ovens, temperatures hitting anywhere from the 1,000 to 2,000 degrees C.
Whoa, hold on. 1,000 to 2,000. That's just wow.
It's intense. And maintaining those temperatures, that's just one part of it. They're monitoring the coal feed, ensuring it's consistent, and then there's the quenching process.
Quenching, so like cooling it down rapidly.
You got it. That's where the coke gets cooled down and solidified. It's a delicate process.
Okay, starting to get a picture here. So much more to it than meets the eye, and in those kinds of temperatures, I imagine safety is...
Paramount. Absolutely. These operators, they're working in a high-stakes environment, surrounded by heavy machinery, intense heat. It demands a lot, both physically and mentally.
Okay, so not your typical desk job. But you also mentioned a sense of accomplishment, right?
There's a certain satisfaction that comes from knowing you're part of something crucial. I mean, without coke, we wouldn't have steel.
Oh, right, coke is used in steel making, isn't it?
It's the key ingredient. Think about it. Without steel, we wouldn't have skyscrapers, cars, so many of the things we rely on every day.
Wow, okay. So this seemingly niche job, it's actually linked to a whole web of industries. And our research mentioned there's a pretty defined career path for coking furnace operators too, right?
Absolutely. It's not just a job, it's a career with real potential for growth. Many start as assistants, learning the ropes from those experienced operators.
Ah, so there's that apprenticeship element again, like we were talking about.
Exactly. They're getting to know the furnaces inside and out, mastering those safety protocols, all the nuances. And as they gain experience and confidence, they can move up to junior operator roles, taking on more responsibility.
So what's the top rung on that ladder look like? What does a seasoned coking furnace operator, someone at the top of their game, what do they do?
Well, with years of that hands-on experience, maybe some additional training or certifications, you could become a senior operator. They're the ones supervising teams, managing those intricate production schedules, even having a say in how to improve the process itself. Some even move into management or specialize, like safety training or quality control.
Okay, so a clear path for advancement, potential for leadership roles, that's great. But gotta ask, how is automation impacting all of this?
It's definitely changing the game. But here's the thing. It's not eliminating the need for skilled operators. If anything, it's making those problem-solving critical thinking skills even more valuable.
So instead of just operating the machinery, they need to understand how those automated systems actually work.
Exactly. Imagine a mechanic, right? The best ones, they don't just know how to drive the car. They understand the engine. They can diagnose problems, make repairs. That's the direction things are heading.
So it's a blend of hands-on experience with technological fluency. Speaking of which, we should probably talk about the pros and cons our research highlighted. Give our listener a realistic view. What are some of the things they should be aware of if they're considering this career path?
Well, on the plus side, it's a field that really rewards those who love working with their hands. You see the tangible results of your efforts. You're part of a team. There's a real sense of camaraderie.
But it's demanding work too, right?
It is. We've talked about the heat, the heavy machinery. That all comes with inherent risks. Operators need to be incredibly safety conscious, comfortable in that kind of environment.
It's a balance, isn't it? The challenges and the rewards. You know, in one of the articles you shared, a veteran coking furnace operator, he said, and I quote, "You're always aware of the heat, the dust, the potential dangers. But when you see that perfectly formed coke pushing out of the oven, it's a feeling of satisfaction you just can't beat."
That's it. Exactly. That really captures the essence of this profession.
Okay, so we've talked about the day-to-day, the career path, even the impact of technology. But how does one actually become a coking furnace operator? What are the steps involved?
Well, most often it starts with a high school diploma. That's usually the minimum. But from there, it's really about hands-on experience.
So not always a straight line from the classroom to the factory floor then.
Not typically.
Ah.
Now, some employers might want some vocational training, maybe certifications, industrial safety, process operation, those kinds of things. But the real learning, it happens on the job.
Working side by side with those seasoned veterans.
Yeah, exactly. Learning how to handle the equipment, the timing of each step, all those safety procedures. It's crucial in that environment.
And that's where those personal qualities we talked about earlier, that ability to stay focused under pressure, the attention to detail, that's got to be essential.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about individual skills either. Coking furnace operators, they're part of a team. Everything has to be in sync to keep that whole process running smoothly.
Which makes me think about the interview questions. If our listener is thinking about going for one of these jobs, what are some of the key things employers are looking for, aside from the obvious technical and safety stuff?
Well, problem solving is huge. Can you think on your feet? Because things happen.
Yeah.
Unexpected things. They want to know you can handle pressure, troubleshoot on the spot.
Because one small slip up in that kind of environment?
Exactly. And with automation becoming more prevalent, they're also looking for people who are adaptable, who are eager to learn these new technologies.
So not just operating the machinery, but understanding the systems behind it.
Yes, troubleshooting those technical glitches, maybe even doing some basic programming adjustments, those skills are going to be more and more valuable.
It's interesting, isn't it? This blend of traditional craftsmanship with a really forward-looking mindset.
Right, and that actually brings up another really important skill, communication. Because these operators, they have to communicate clearly and effectively with their team, supervisors, other departments, everyone.
Especially during those shift changes, right? When you've got crucial information that needs to be passed on.
Critical. Or if something unexpected happens, everyone needs to be in the loop. Safety depends on it.
Okay, so not a job for someone who prefers to work in isolation.
No, not at all. It's a very collaborative environment. Clear communication, mutual respect, working together, that's what makes it work.
That makes a lot of sense. We've talked a lot about the demands, but what about the flip side? What do people in this field find most rewarding?
One thing that comes up time and again is the pride they feel. Working in such a vital industry, I mean, they're contributing to something much bigger than themselves.
They're literally helping build the world around us.
And let's not forget the camaraderie. That kind of demanding environment, it really forges strong bonds between team members. They rely on each other. They have this shared purpose. It creates a very unique and supportive workplace culture.
So it's not just the work itself, it's the people, the shared experience, the challenges, the successes, everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
And for those who thrive in that kind of environment, who like hands-on work, problem-solving, fast-paced, it can be incredibly rewarding.
We've covered a lot of ground, the global market, the skills, but let's talk more specifically about that career trajectory. We touched on it, entry level to senior, but what does that progression actually look like day to day? So it's a journey then, starting with that apprenticeship, that entry level position.
Right? You're really starting from scratch. Shadowing those experienced operators, picking up on how things work, how to react. It's all about experience.
It's like you said earlier, that apprenticeship model, passing down that knowledge. That's how you learn this trade.
And like any craft, people find their niche. Some operators, they're drawn to the technical stuff, monitoring those automated systems, making adjustments. Others, they might love the hands-on aspect, getting that Coke just right.
See, you can specialize even within this specific field.
You can, and as you gain that expertise, you move up that ladder we were talking about. From junior operator to senior, more responsibility, more oversight.
What does that actually look like, though, being a senior operator? What are they doing on a day-to-day basis?
Well, they might be overseeing a whole team of operators, for one, managing the production schedules, making sure the quality's up to par, troubleshooting any tricky problems that pop up. They're the ones with the experience, the go-to people.
It really shows that it's not a static job. You're always learning, always facing new challenges.
Exactly, and that's something I think is really important to highlight, especially in this day and age with everything changing so rapidly. That willingness to keep learning, adapting to new tech, that's going to be key.
You can't just rest on your laurels. You have to be proactive.
Exactly. Think about it. The future of this field, it's not just about operating machines anymore. It's about this intersection of human skill and technology. Being able to problem solve, think critically, adapt to whatever comes your way, that's what it's going to take.
It's fascinating, really, how we're seeing this play out across so many industries. This idea that technology isn't necessarily replacing jobs, but it is changing what those jobs require.
Absolutely. And, it's a good reminder that not all valuable skills are learned in a traditional classroom setting.
Right. That hands-on experience, that dedication to mastering a craft, that's still so important.
It is. And I think for anyone listening who's drawn to that, who likes working with their hands, who likes to see the tangible results of their efforts, It's something to think about.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to wrap up on. This deep dive, it's really opened my eyes to the world of coking furnace operation, and I hope it's done the same for our listeners. It's demanding, no doubt, but also incredibly rewarding and absolutely essential to our world. So, to anyone out there considering this path, do your research, ask questions, and most importantly, keep that fire for learning burning bright.